2. He arrived late and I still had to pay for his bus fare. Look at the kind of situation I'm putting myself in. Okay, then Devo had a sour look on his face and it was raining cats and dogs. He had an umbrella there and then it stopped raining a little. I said, let's go because I already wanted to go home. So I went. I stopped at the Bayou de Dois stand, bought a Bayou de Dois just for myself, and he was kind of far away on the corner. As far as I was concerned, he could have left already, but I think he didn't have money for the bus fare. So, okay, then, walking along Paulista Avenue, after I got the Bayou de Dois, I stopped at a kind of covered place and went to eat. Then I asked you. He said, do you want some? Delay. No, because I didn't buy it for him. I only bought it for myself and I shared some with him too. Before that, we were going to the place. He had an umbrella, and I was getting rained on, because I was walking in the rain in front of him with an umbrella and talking in French with some friend of his. He must have been cursing me out, saying a lot of things. And I didn't care because I don't understand French. So for me, you'll never know what he was saying, right, friend? Only if it was recorded so we could translate it later. Imagine him cursing me out in French. Oh friend, you went and picked a French speaker. What a mess. Then we went, me making out with him with a sour face. Then I said to him, dude, I don't understand why you have that face, when I'm the one who should be angry here. I offered to pay for the shop for you. You didn't have it. Then he said, why did we leave? She said, guys, we left because you didn't want to go order your snack. He said, yeah, but that's not how it works. It would have been so hard for you to go and order it for me. I said, it's no use you making a face because I'm the one who should be making a face here, offering to pay for your snack. Instead of doing your job as a man, you didn't accompany me to get the snack. And another thing, guys, that I didn't mention, he kept looking at every woman who passed by, thinking they were. I said, and another thing, I noticed from the moment you met me that you're looking at me like I'm a woman. I said, we don't have anything, but that's disrespectful. The least you could do is respect me. Then, guys, it seemed like the scene from that blind wedding scene, with that dirty old man, exactly like that. I have eyes. Where am I supposed to look, people? Oh, what a drag. It was awful. Wow. Where am I supposed to look, people? It was awful. Wow, when he said that, I said, holy, I'm subjecting myself to this kind of disrespect, you know? So, it's like, then he said, I don't know, you know, I think you wouldn't like me walking with you and looking at a bunch of men in the middle of the street. I don't know what. Oh, typical manly excuse, right guys? Quote, then he stayed quiet the whole time. Then I went to the Conjunto Nacional shopping center because I wanted to buy a little chocolate for myself. Then I'd eat my Bayou de Dois, a typical Brazilian dish. Then he said, I don't want anything. I was like, I didn't even ask you if you wanted anything. But I went there, bought my chocolate, and he said, you're not going to talk to me? The whole deal? Then I dropped him off at Conjunto Nacional and went home. Then I sent him a text saying, look, I felt desperate, undervalued. Quote, I think it's better if we don't continue this, because I don't think it's cool. And I said, you're going to pay my fare via Pix. Then he said, I'll have money on Friday. I'll pay your Pix. Listen, I don't care about the money, but for him I cared just for the nonsense. I acted like the man in the relationship. He had a sour face. Do you think I'm going to stay on the side of some wimpy macho? Seriously, for God's sake, be a man. Oh.